Hey everyone, Core here, and it's that time of the week again. It's time for another midnight review. And this week I went to go see Snow White and the Huntsman. And I was really looking forward to this. I would say a little bit more than Men in Black 3 just because of the trailers. The trailers look really good, and the special effects look amazing. And it just felt like it was going to be some kind of like blend between like Lord of the Rings and something like gritty, some kind of gritty. I can't think of a movie right now. I don't know why, but really in the end, it ended up being something like between Lord of the Rings as far as special effects and the way the scenery and all that. It looks really beautiful. It's shot in these really cool locations. The special effects are really flawless. Um, there was no time where I thought I was looking at a special effect. Besides, okay, like, scratch that. Besides the mirror, that's probably the only one. But that's because it's supposed to look shiny and gold, so it gets away with a pass, but it still looked really nice. Um, Everything else looked really amazing. I wish there was more fight scenes because this is kind of like because Kristen Stewart's in. I think they're trying to cater to the audience a little bit. Um, Not as far. I mean, there is a little bit of a love story in there. It really doesn't take up too much time on screen, and it's really done fast. You kind of forget about it from the beginning to halfway through when it kicks up again. Um, but yeah, like it's. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, it's a good movie. Um, Maybe it was just the audience I was there with, because the audience was pretty packed. We were in a pretty big theater, and it's not like I live in a small city where it's a small theater. It's a decent sized one. It's probably not. It's not the biggest I've been to, but it's not the smallest. Definitely not the smallest I've ever been to. But I don't know. Like Charlize Theron. I probably pronounced that wrong, but she. I really wanted to see it just because of her. I wanted to see how she played. Because I always think she's a good actress to play a bitch. I mean, that's plain and simple. I mean, if you need someone to play a bitch character or evil character, like she's perfect for it. I mean, after all, I believe she won an Emmy for her role in Monster, which I mean, yeah, her motives may be good, I guess you could say, but she was still like kind of evil in a way. I guess it's just walking that line. But yeah, like a lot of times when her scenes came up, there were a couple scenes where I was like, it could have been written better, I guess, or edited better, and um, it just didn't work. And it was right off the bat too. Um, and then a lot of times the audience would laugh when she was on scene or when she did something. It's like I don't know. I guess it's just the audience, which were uh, in the 20s to late teens. A lot of people there, and I don't know. I guess I mean that's my generation. After all, I'm mid 20s. Um, but it's like, I have to rant on that later. It's just like it's like they're so immature. Like they can't sink themselves into the movie, even though they went to the movies for a reason. Which you go to the movies to be drawn in, which this movie does pretty well. Um, but yeah, so talking about the actors and actresses, Charlize Theron, I liked her. There were a couple scenes where she hammed it up a little bit, but it was needed because of the character. There were some scenes that seemed kind of like, why did they just show that? And then you kind of get it later. It's like, oh, okay, that's why they just did that. Um, a lot of scenes were just like it looked pretty or just looked good, and it drew me off at least. I don't think it drew anyone else off. Um, this is something I nitpicked at, but that's nitpicking. So the other actors, Chris Hemsworth. Um, I always think of him as Thor because that's the first thing I remember him from is Thor. He's Thor, and in here, I mean, he's just a darker skinned Thor. well, not darker skin, darker. Well, I mean, he's grittier, and he has darker hair. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, he's more grittier, which I liked it. It was really good. A lot of his scenes, there was a lot of laughter at some of his scenes just because of how kind of gritty he is. I'm using that word a little too much, but that's just the best word to describe him. He does have an interesting backstory, and I liked him. I like his scenes when he was in there. So a main star, well, I guess the main star. I mean, Chris kind of stole it, and Charlize really she ate up the scenes when she was in scenes, but it was a good way. But Kristen Stewart, she was. I mean, I'm looking at IMDb right now. She is the first listed one, so I guess because she's popular right now. But yeah, she has a thing where she always a lot of her scenes. Probably about 99% of this time she's on screen, her mouth is open, and it just makes. I mean, she has two big front teeth, which just makes her look like any scene she's in. She's always like, "Well, what's going on?" Or like she always looks dumbfounded. That's what it is, and that's not good for an actress. And I don't think she could move her eyebrows at all to really give facial emotions. I mean, there were a couple scenes where she smiled and it's like, okay, she looked happy, but it's like just because you're smiling doesn't mean you're happy. I mean, you gotta have your whole face has to show it. And there was hardly any. There was like maybe two or three scenes where she actually smiled or gave a smirk. A lot of times she just looked dumbfounded. I mean, I wish they would have chose someone else, anyone else. Um, I mean, oops, it's a flashlight I have on my desk. Let me go down my list here. I think so. Of course, I got my cell phone again because it's the best thing to do. I tried writing with pen and paper and I can't see through a movie. And the phone's perfect because my little keyboard lights up. So, okay, so nitpicking time. When Snow White's a child, when she's about, I want to say 7. Um, Snow White's supposed to have, you know, pale skin, red lips, and black hair. Black as Raven. A Raven's black. That's all there is. And she had dark brown hair, but it was still brown. It's like you don't go from dark brown to black hair. Usually hair goes lighter, or it goes to dark brown if it's already brown, like a light brown or something. I have a friend who had blonde hair, blondish brown, but it ended up turning to a dark brown, but not black. I mean, my hair is black. It's always been black. It's jet black. I mean, my hair is supposed to be, I mean, like how her hair is supposed to be. And I think it's like they dropped the ball, but they wanted to use this actress, but I guess they couldn't dye her hair um, because she's a kid. It just seems wrong. But uh, that's just nitpicking, I guess. Let's see. There's one scene where there's a bridge troll, which is actually part of the bridge when they're in the forest, and Kristen Stewart has a scene with it with the troll, where it's kind of like it's looking into his soul and all that stuff. It's really not spoiling anything, because you kind of figure it out what's gonna happen, and it's like the troll is really cool, but it's like the troll had more emotion than Kristen Stewart in any of her scenes, and that's sad. Something that's CG rendered that's meant to look stiff because it's meant to look like stone in a way, a stone troll, had more emotion than her. Uh, like I said before, there's a lot of scenes. Some scenes really they didn't need it, or they needed a little bit more to show to it to really connect it. Everything looked nice. They worked a little too hard on showing that the queen is evil. That was another thing I had written. And it's like, yeah, we get it. She's evil. She's the evil queen. I mean, how in the first... I'm trying to spoil anything on this. I mean, some of the first scenes, it's like, wow, she's pretty evil. I mean, 10 minutes in, you already know she's a bitch. I mean, but yeah, so... I don't know, like... I like the movie. I just didn't... it was shot nice. Some of the editing could have been better. Some of the scenes, there could have been different ways they shot the scenes. The action scenes were really cool. The last scene at the end when they had the big battle, really, I don't know, it felt kind of stale. Like that's what I was trying to compare it to earlier. It's like it's kind of like Lord of the Rings visuals with the Chronicles of Narnia, the first one at least. Um, like that kind of like feel to it, I guess you could say. Because I mean, there were some good graphics and visuals in that movie, but you know, it's for a younger audience, and that's kind of what this is. But they're like a little bit older, I guess you could say, than Narnia. Um, they definitely did not shy away from their rating, which they got. What's the rating that's on this thing? PG-13, which I think they did pretty well for PG-13. There's some scenes where it's like, whoa, they got away with that. But yeah, so in the end, it's a decent movie. Um, IMDb has it rated at 6.9 right now, which I think that's right. Um, 7 out of 10 is right. Oh, let's talk about the dwarfs. The dwarfs are awesome. They're the best part of this movie. Besides the Huntsman himself. I keep thinking of his Thor. Thor. He's Thor. It's like I can't think of anyone else besides him. But yeah, the dwarfs were awesome. They were hilarious. I mean, they're dwarfs. They're they're like mean little short people. That's funny. But so yeah, so it's a good movie. It wouldn't hurt you if you didn't see it in theaters. I mean, yeah, seeing it in theaters, the visuals are gonna look way better, but um, it's not really a movie. I mean, if you like any of the actors in it, then yeah, go see it. But it's not really a movie where I see a big audience for it. It's definitely going to be the young crowd, at least the crowd that not be could be more mature than mine. 'Cause there was just a lot of laughing going on when it's like a serious scene or something came up. I don't know. Maybe they were just talking amongst themselves and they laughed, but yeah, like it was good. It's definitely good. I think the rating on IMDb is good. It's 6.9. Mostly because Kristen Stewart isn't really in a lot of scenes, and a lot of scenes don't. I mean, they do well without her. But yeah, so yeah, um, that's that. The next, I'll post on my Facebook page what the next movie I will be seeing next week. Um, actually, let me see if I can look it up real quick. I should have had this prepared, but screw it. Doing it on the fly. Let's see. Theaters on my location. I can't think of a movie that's coming out next week. Um, but I'm sure the internet will tell me. Let's see. Oh man. uh, hmm. Oh, okay. Cool. Sweet. I'm looking forward to next week. Uh, Prometheus is next week. It's better than the other option, which is Madagascar 3. But Prometheus will be the one I will be watching next week. It will be in 2D because I don't like 3D, and I know that movie's going to be post-production 3D. It may be good for post-production 3D, but unless it's shot in 3D, I won't see it in 3D. So, until next week, guys. Later.